We're talking all about batteries that go into electric cars, plug-ins, and hybrids. I've got three experts to talk about that with me, including Anne-Marie Sastry, the CEO of SACD3, Prabhakar Patil, the CEO of LG Chem, and Brett Smith, the Program Director of Industry Analysis for the Center for Automotive Research. Anne-Marie, I'll start with you. What about recycling? I mean, I know batteries, lithium-ion batteries, can be recycled. I'm aware of maybe one facility in the United States that can actually do that. So if we're making cars green by not putting out tailpipe emissions, aren't we going backwards if we just throw all this stuff in the landfill?
It's a great question. So the data on that are back. Life cycle analyses have been done on electric vehicles and hybrid electric vehicles versus IC engine. And the question was, if I'm putting all this complexity into the vehicle with all these different systems, aren't I actually enlarging my carbon footprint? It turns out you're better off. It turns out your environmental impacts are actually lower in a hybrid electric vehicle or an electric vehicle with lithium-ion batteries.
So, but Prabhakar, at the end of life, these things have got to be recycled. If there's only one facility in the United States, sounds to me like they're not going to get recycled.
Well, no, I guess a couple of things. One is, what is life? Because the vehicle life is 10 years, but at that point, the battery still has about 70% of the energy left in it. So there is life after the vehicle as far as the battery is concerned.
For some other use.
Like for energy storage, for example, where the space that the batteries would need is not that big of a concern. In fact, we have some pilot programs that we're trying to do to actually study, because the name of the game is going to be where you don't have to put a lot of effort and money into remanufacturing. You should be able to pull the battery packs out and string them together for these other applications. So that's one. But the economic challenge with that is going to be the cost of the new batteries starts to come down. In 10 years, down by a factor of 2. So which one are people going to go for?
They're going to go for the new one, because
right.
I talked to the public utilities and they said, no way are we going to buy used batteries.
That's right. And if they do that, the good news is, again, as Anne-Marie indicated, that everything in the lithium-ion battery is recyclable. In fact, there is a value equation right now for consumer electronics batteries where they'll pick up your cells for free. And because they recover enough from recycling.
I know it can be recycled.
Right.
All the glass in a car can be recycled. All the plastic in a car can be recycled. None of it is.
Right.
There's no natural market demand. So, Brett, how does the industry handle it?
I think Prabhakar's point is important, that originally there were two pathways here. There was the extend the life of the product, which even in 2008 looked questionable, because you realized, given the gains in battery every year and the fabulous technology development, by the time that end of life of a vehicle battery came out, it wasn't going to be a great battery compared to what's on the market. Maybe not a good strategy there. Still viable in some ways. There's a lot of costs that go into maybe getting that battery. But the question then comes down to, is the value of the material worth someone creating a business model to get to?
Yes.
It's really, if you look at the recycling business for cars, it is driven because that person that owns that recycling center is getting money.
Yeah. And my point is, I think there was value, or there is value in the consumer electronics, and that's the reason people are picking them up and recycling.
And I think there's not the volume at this point
to
get the
justify another facility.
But there is the value in each unit to get there. So yeah, there's a model.
There are
three
pieces of this, right? The first piece is it better or worse than what we're doing now? Even net everything, you don't recycle it, even then it's better to do a hybrid or electric vehicle on the life cycle analysis. Second question is, can we create value for someone who does recycling by recycling materials? Can we make the market signal such that that happens? The answer is we're pretty close. All of the materials are recoverable. The third bucket is sort of, how do we make that happen? Certainly, it's been disastrous. The battery has been disastrous in part of the world, especially lead-acid batteries, where there's no regulation around recycling it, because lead bioaccumulates, and it can poison people. So you do have to have some regulation around recovering hazardous materials. But the first two answers are extremely encouraging, right?
Thanks for your thoughts on battery recycling. And if you want to learn more about where all this battery is going and more discussion with these three, check out our program, Autoline, this week.